There are the ones who sit by the shore, keep their distance from the ocean's salty prickle. There are the daredevils who dig their toes into the seabed and square their shoulders towards rising waves, sharp at the tip, threatening to collapse onto itself. Sometimes they get knocked over by the flood, tumbling towards shoreline. Other times, they manage to take the waves for a ride, let it lift them off their feet, catapulted into the blue, and pray that the water land them lightly. There are others still who have grown up by the waters. They know not to trust it blindly, for they have seen the bodies it has swallowed. But they also know not to fight it, to take deep breaths and duck under the waves, scalp of the head just below the water surface, and let the crashing of foamy jets onto solid blue roll over. They will float there as the rumbling passes, come up for air once it has, wipe the salt from their eyes, and watch for the next one. There are many different types of people at the beach, and there is no wrong way to survive.
If I dip my feet back into water, will you feel the cold? Will you come back home? I've been lost at sea, caught in binaries. You look at me like I'm not your own. If I apologize, threw away my pride, talk to you and stay the night, could we still be friends? Would you start again? Kill me just to satisfy the hunger that you keep inside, this grief that wakes you up at night, this hole in your heart that you keep from me.
When she decided to invest in my father, it was love at first, cost-benefit analysis, family, occupation, values, amounting positive net worth.
Stop pretending I know who you are, I know you by heart, so why don't we fall apart? Talk down to me like it's not your fault, that I don't want this at all. You were there from the start, from the start. So I fell out of somebody's tree, learn how to fly by your side. I know who would want this from me? A half apology, you got half a prodigy.
Before I was deposited at the school gates, she calculated the risk and returns of a third pair of hands, raising her stock. I learned to be wary of inflation, but never how to budget vulnerability, forgiveness, labor.
Guess I'm sorry for this open end. I was raised with these familiar hands, but this hole in my heart was always there.
If you ever wonder who is doing the work, follow the cash flow. I have always lived to repay debts.
Stop pretending I know who you are, I know you by heart, so why don't we fall apart? Talk down to me like it's not your fault. I don't want this at all. You were there from the start. From the start, yeah, yeah. From the start, from the start. If I dip my feet back into water, will you feel the cold? Will you come back home?
Finish.
So what was that piece about, Vivien?
Well, I mean, the piece that I sang, featuring Karisa's written piece, the original song is called Nested, and it's really about family. And sometimes, like, growing up, family is the hardest thing you have to deal with. I know, to put it that way, it sounds very like harsh, because, you know, they raised you, you came out of your mom's birth canal.
Lovely image.
Thank you. So that song was basically about like how, yeah, you can't choose your family, and sometimes you have to deal with it. I kind of wrote all my like negative musings into a song called Nested. And yeah, and I thought it would fit well with Karisa's piece.
Yeah, I think this is early on kind of one of the things that we immediately were like, okay, this is going to fit well together, because, I don't know, I think we both have a lot of familial angst and gelled well over that somehow.
Sorry, mommy.
Yeah, I wrote my piece about my parents as well, who are very like practical and like technical-minded people. And like the main form of communication between me and my dad is email, which he begins with Dear Daw, and Daw is short for daughter, because we're close like that, you know? Yeah. And I have no idea if I was using any of that like finance terminology correctly. So if anybody knows and wants to like feedback after the show.
Just like to clarify, for those watching at home, that we did not practice this banter at all. So I'm learning this as you are learning this, and I'm very shocked. Very, very shocked. Okay.